Okay. There you go. Good evening, everyone.
No, not on yet.
Not on yet?
1 second.
Okay. Cue me up. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the May 26, 2022 meeting of the Franklin Conservation Commission. Before we begin this evening's meeting, I have a few announcements to make. Due to concerns regarding COVID-19, the Conservation Commission meeting is available to be attended either in person or via the Zoom application in an effort to ensure citizen engagement and certainly comply with the open meeting laws of the state of Massachusetts. Citizens are able to dial into a meeting using either a cell phone or landline by calling the following number, 929-205-6099, and putting in the meeting number 858-796-5071, or using a phone, a computer, or tablet and the Zoom application, simply putting in the meeting number only, which is 858-796-5071. I want to reassure everyone that they will have an opportunity to speak. The way we run it, because of both the virtual and in-person, is we let the applicant give testimony or their representative. And typically the conservation commissioners have questions or want to make comments, including the Franklin Town Conservation Agent. So with that said, the chair will cue when we are ready to have a public discourse. I want to do a roll call now of the commissioners who are either with us or not. So first, I am William Batchelor. I am chair. The vice chair is Jeff Milne. Jeff?
Jeff Milne, present, sir.
Thank you. Commissioner Jeff Livingstone.
Present.
Good evening, Jeff. Commissioner Patrick Gallagher.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Andrew Mazzucchelli.
Present.
Good evening. Commissioner Richard Johnson.
Present.
Good evening, Richard. And last but not least, Commissioner Michael Rain.
Present.
Good evening, Michael. In addition to the commissioners, we have the Franklin Conservation Agent, Ms. Brika Lee Goodlander, with us, and also from the Town of Franklin Conservation Office, Tyler Pazlaski. So with that said, I am going to open the public hearings. The first one is an RDA continuation for the NEP pit maintenance project. Is the applicant or their representative with us?
Migrating up to the front.
Good evening. Do we have the signage?
Sign-in sheet?
We need the signage. And then simply after you sign, state your name and your whether you're the applicant or their designate.
Hello, everyone. My name is Heidi Graff. I am the designee for New England Power Company. I'm covering for Sandy Walker tonight. Nice to see everyone in person. So we're here. Would you like me to give a little recap of what we talked about? It was about 4 weeks ago for the pole inspection and treatment project along the C-129 line. So on the 28th of April, we had our opening for our public meeting, and we discussed the request for determination of applicability to inspect 42 wooden poles along the C-129 line in Franklin. The pit inspection is a regular maintenance. It's a 10-year schedule where they'll inspect all of their wood poles for their wooden assets. And it requires small excavations around the wooden poles to inspect for damage or wood decay. And they'll treat those poles with preservatives to stop any additional decay. There were a series of questions from the commissioners and from the agent, and we responded with a letter on May 10th. And I hope that we've addressed those comments. Would you like me to review the comments?
If I may.
Yep.
Brickley, do you want to respond to that? You in receipt of that?
Yeah, I am in receipt. The comments were all answered, namely, most of the concerns were that a good portion of these structures were underwater, and BSC Group did not know that. They had not conducted a site visit. And for their RDA, they were driving through and also accessing on foot. So there was no distinction between where they were driving to, where they're walking to, any BMPs for working in water, things of that nature. So their comments did respond that access to most of the structures will be conducted on foot. There's approximately 440 square feet of temporary impacts. So they wrote it was, how far down? 18 inches that you were digging down?
18 inches.
18 inches by 1 foot. So I got that width from Heidi. They also responded that native seed and topsoil will be preserved. So it's a good addition to the RDA. All wetland areas will be accessed on foot. So I do have that in writing, which is great. The only concerns that I have, so I'm fine recommending a negative determination with standard special conditions and a few others. But my concern is that BSC Group didn't know that these structures are underwater and there will be no monitoring, even restoration monitoring.
Well, you can't because you're underwater.
Right. So even areas that are seasonally flooded wetlands where you're proposing to remove vegetation, the root ball, and I understand you're placing it on fabric, which is fine, but then replacing that back, how would you know that you have successful rerouting?
I can talk to the National Grid Environmental Project Manager, but at this point, there's no restoration monitoring.
So it's not over budget.
Okay.
So I'm, again, comfortable doing that negative determination, but I would like to know where that goes. And I would like to know when construction is starting, when it's finished, because I would like to go out and make sure.
Do you have any difficulty with it?
With letting her know when
The
it's starting.
recommendation?
Yeah.
No. Okay, let me poll the commissioners to see. I do not have on Chairman Batchelor. I do not have any questions. Vice Chair Milne, any questions?
Jeff Milne, I have no questions, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Livingstone.
Livingstone, no questions.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Hi, Gallagher, no questions.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Mazzucchelli.
I have no questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Johnson, do you have any questions?
Mr. Johnson has no questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Ryan, do you have any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Okay, this is a public hearing, and therefore now would be appropriate time if anybody from the public has a question about this project, which is just, again, pit maintenance. It seems to have come together well. Let me ask one more time. Is there anybody from the public have a question for this? Since there appears not to be, I will take a motion to close the public hearing. Commissioner Gallagher, you want to give me a motion?
Pat Gallagher, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing for the RDA for the New England Power Company maintenance.
Commissioner Mazzucchelli, would you give me a second?
I second that. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's take a vote if we may. Commissioner Milne, how do you vote?
Jeff Milne, I vote to approve.
Commissioner Livingstone, you vote to approve the closing of the public hearing? Okay. Commissioner Gallagher, you vote to approve. Commissioner Mazzucchelli, you vote to approve. Mr. Johnson, do you vote to approve the closing of the hearing?
I vote to approve.
Thank you. Commissioner Ryan, do you vote to approve the closing of the public hearing?
I vote to close.
Very good. This public hearing is then therefore closed for the New England Power Company pit maintenance. We have a recommendation, negative determination on RDA with special conditions 24, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 35, 37, 46, 47, 48, 49, and 50, and also a recommendation that the applicant conduct sweeps within the vernal pool buffer zone if work during the VP breeding season. And also, the applicant notify the agent when maintenance is complete to ensure compliance with the conditions. So with that said, I will take a motion as stated to approve.
Pat Gallagher, motion to approve as so stated.
Thank you. Mr. Mazzucchelli, second.
This is Mr. Kelly. I second that. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's take a vote. Commissioner, Vice Chairman and Commissioner Milne.
Jeff Milne, I vote to approve.
Thank you. Commissioner Jeff Livingstone. Thank you, sir. Commissioner Gallagher.
Pat Gallagher, I vote to approve.
Thank you. Commissioner Mazzucchelli.
I vote to approve.
Thank you. Commissioner Johnson.
Richard Johnson votes to approve.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Ryan.
What time?
Ryan votes to approve.
I'm Bill Batchelor. I also vote to approve. We are approving negative determination RDA with special conditions as stated and the 2 extra conditions. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate your
nice
help. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Okay. Very good. Our next is an NOI project for 585 King Street. Is the applicant or their representative with us this evening?
Yes, we are here. I'm Mark Manganello with LEC Environmental, representing the applicant Marcus Partners, and Josh Berman from Marcus Partners is also here.
Good evening, Mark. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you. Do you want to give any testimony tonight? Because I understand this project is still without numbers from DEP.
Yeah, we wanted to discuss a couple of topics tonight. We understand that there are 2 review letters, one from Beta and one from Wetland Strategies, that we need to respond to in writing, and we intend to do that at some point, probably in the next week. We have made some progress addressing some of those comments, and we wanted to have a conversation with you tonight, just limited to a couple of topics that we think would be productive to discuss in the public forum at this point.
Okay, Mark, as long as you're aware that if the commission does not have material that backs up the testimony, it is highly unlikely that we are going to comment just based on presentation.
Fair enough. We sent the information over late today, so I understand you don't have ample time to review it in detail. I think it's really a fairly brief technical discussion we'll have primarily with Wetland Strategies and anyone else who has comments on the wetland replication area and the alternatives analysis.
Okay. That is not in keeping with the commission's regulation that all material must be received 1 week before the meeting for ample review by the commissioners and or conversations with the agent. So I certainly, for one, will not give comment, but you're free to ask questions.
Okay. If I could share my screen, I'll just show you what we'd like to talk about, and if we can have a conversation, that would be great. If not, then we can move on. Okay, is that visible to you?
Not yet.
Not so much.
I'm gonna stop your sharing, then if you try again, maybe that will make it work this time.
I can't see anything. Not coming through?
Keep going.
We're going to try again.
Got it, Jeff. We still have nothing here. Mark, unfortunately, we're not getting any feed.
Yeah, can you?
Can't see a thing. Nor can any of the commissioners, the agent, etc.
Yeah, Mark, your photo is still, looks like your camera shut off or something. You can't, there's no movement on your camera or sound.
Good evening, Lenore.
Hi, how you doing, Bill? And Brika Lee, and all the members of the commission.
Any luck there, Mark?
Oh, man.
Apparently not. Mark, quite candidly, this is going to go to June 9th anyway. We have a number of open issues yet to be resolved. It would be my recommendation that if this material is not something you can certainly get up with the next few minutes, then we should just move along with a continuation.
He may have just left the meeting. Maybe he's not trying to join back.
Did I lose him?
Yeah.
He left or if he lost connection.
Mark, are you there? We lost him totally. We're going to give this 4 more minutes with the approval of the board. Sure. Anybody object?
No objections.
I'll time you out when we're at 20 after. We'll just make a vote.
Could we maybe just move on to the next one?
You cannot by law. No, you can't until we vote.
Right.
Mark, you have 2 minutes left.
Tyler, can you tell if
He's not joined back yet.
Lenore, you look very relaxed. I like that.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. I am very relaxed. I think I mentioned last week that we're gonna maybe go back to these live meetings. So I'm not sure what's up with that, but
I'm not sure that's ever going to happen. But who knows?
Yeah. You know, if we learned anything during the pandemic, didn't we learn that we can do this?
We can still do
it too.
Yeah, same that. Mark, are you with us? All right, Mark, you timed out. It is a public hearing. We can't take questions because we have no information in front of us. I would ask anybody that has questions to tune in on June 9th at 7:01 p.m. And therefore, I will take a recommendation to continue the hearing until June 9th at 7:01.
Pat Gallagher, I'll make a motion to continue the NOI for 585 King Street to June 9th at 7:01 p.m.
Thank you, Commissioner Mazzucchelli. Second.
This is Andrew Mazzucchelli. I second that. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's take a vote. Commissioner Vice Chair Milne.
Jeff Milne, I will vote for continuance here.
Thank you. Commissioner Livingston.
I'll accept the continue. Yes.
Thank you. Gallagher.
Vote to continue.
Mazzucchelli.
I vote to continue. Thank you.
Commissioner Johnson, you vote to continue.
I vote to continue.
Thank you, Richard. Appreciate it. Commissioner Ryan.
Vote to continue.
And this is Commissioner Batchelor. I also vote to continue. The NOI for King Street has been continued until the 9th at 7:01 p.m.
There's a pre-existing NOI, I think. We'll go with it.
I'm sorry?
There's already an NOI at 7:01 p.m. for June 9th.
7:02. How's that? Done. Thank you. Appreciate it, Tyler.
Before we start, I'm just going to recuse myself from the next one.
You were accusing
NOI.
for the next item, which is the NOI on 839. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. Let the record show that Commissioner Mazzucchelli is recused for the NOI on 839 Upper Union Street. Is the applicant for this project with us?
Yes, Nick Dewhurst with Bowler. Also with me tonight is Josh Swirling with Bowler. So just to kind of, I guess, refresh everyone as to where we left off 2 weeks ago. We were in the process of working on addressing any outstanding comments that Gary with Beta had as part of the planning board review. And I know that the commission wanted us to resolve those issues before closing the hearing, just in case anything changed that would affect a resource area. And we have worked towards, we've addressed all of Gary's comments, all of DPW's comments. We've had a few different meetings with Brika. I know Lenore has been kind of in the loop on things as well. And really the changes that we did make to the plans as part of addressing Beta's comments, there was really one minor thing that changed within the wetlands, and that was just adding a small pipe that picked up an area drain and directing that towards the wetlands, just to kind of match the flows from stormwater runoff that flow towards that wetland area today. Really, other than that, everything else has stayed the same. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Okay, if you don't mind, since Lenore White is with us this evening, Lenore, do you have a comment?
Thank you, Commissioner Chairman, and Nick, thank you. No, I don't have any further comments. Frankly, the issues were stormwater related, so that's Beta's bailiwick. So I see Gary James is on board. I don't know if he wanted to comment any further on the latest rendition of the plan.
Very good.
I can actually defer to Gary real quick, since I have a feeling he's going to say what I would say as well.
Then let's do that.
I'm sorry. Yes, the what we did do, and what Bowler actually did is, as Nick has explained, they actually put an area drain in the landscape area behind the building, and essentially by doing that, they are matching the volumes, which was actually one of the DEP comments that we received as part of the number assignment. So that should pretty much take care of it, as long as Lenore and Brika were satisfied with the replication in terms of the buffer, or the 25-foot buffer. Then we're matching volume of runoff going back into that resource, so it should not be impacted by the proposed development.
Okay, Brika, are you in favor of?
Yeah, I approved landscape last hearing. As Gary mentioned, the volume of runoff is now the same. There is a slight increase in peak flow, but volume of runoff is more important. So I'm comfortable with their plan.
Okay. Commissioners, now is the time to ask any questions you may or may not have. So let me go through our list. Commissioner Milne, do you have anything?
Jeff, no, I have no further questions.
Thank you. Livingstone.
Well, I have no further questions.
Thank you. Gallagher.
No further questions.
Thank you. Johnson, do you have any questions?
No further questions.
Thank you, sir. Michael Rain.
No further questions. Thank you.
And Mr. Chairman Batchelor, I have no questions. So therefore, it is a public hearing. I will ask for a motion to close the public hearing for the NOI on 839 Upper Union Street.
Any questions from the public?
I'm sorry?
Any questions from the public?
Oh, thank you, sir. It is a public hearing. Are there any questions from the public? Again, are there any questions from the public? Okay. There appears not to be, so therefore I'll let Commissioner Gallagher give me a recommendation to close the public hearing.
Pat Gallagher, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing for 839 Upper Union Street.
Thank you. I'll take a second from Commissioner Milne.
Jeff Milne, I will second that motion.
Thank you. Let's take a vote. Commissioner Livingstone, how do you vote? Close public hearing?
Close.
Commissioner Gallagher, close the public hearing. Okay. Commissioner Johnson, close the public hearing.
I vote to close.
Thank you, Commissioner Ryan. Do you vote to close?
Move to close.
Thank you very much. This is Chairman and Commissioner Batchel. I also vote to close. How about?
I will also vote to close.
Yeah, and Commissioner Gallagher, you vote to close. Everybody is in the closing mood. We know that the hearing for the NOI at 839 Upper Union Street is closed to the public. We'll move along with a recommended approval of the NOI with standard conditions, namely 24, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 35, 37, 46, 47, 48, 49, and 50. Do I have a recommendation for approval of that NOI as stated?
Pat Gallagher, I'll make a motion to approve the NOI as so stated.
Thank you, Commissioner Milner. Do I have a second?
Jeff Milne, I vote the second.
Thank you. Let's vote on that. Commissioner Livingston, how do you vote?
Vote to approve.
Thank you. Commissioner Gallagher?
Pat Gallagher, vote to approve.
Thank you. Commissioner Johnson?
Commissioner Johnson votes to approve.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Ryan?
Commissioner Ryan votes to approve.
This is Chairman and Commissioner Batchel. I vote to approve, and
Jeff Milne votes to approve.
thank you. Let it be known that the NOI for 858 King Street has been approved with special conditions as stated. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you very much.
That concludes the public hearings for this evening. We will now navigate. Welcome back. Mr. Mazzucchelli is back with the commission. We will now conduct the regular business, which is first, I believe, we have no MBZA activity. We have permit modification or extension. Rika?
Yes, there's for 1061 Upper Union Street. It is a solar project. They are requesting an extension on their order of conditions.
Any problem?
No, I recommend granting an extension. I'm not sure if somebody
Is the applicant or their representative with us?
Yes, this is Mike Lottie with Industrial Engineering for the applicant.
Yes, sir. It appears that there doesn't seem to be any issues with the extension. Do you want to make a comment?
If there's any questions I can answer, I'm happy to, but otherwise I'm okay.
Let's find out. Commissioner Moody, you have any questions on this?
Jeff Milne, I have no questions. Thank you.
Livingstone.
I have no questions.
Gallagher.
Just one question.
You have a question.
It's an easy one. Do you know how long of an extension you'd be looking for?
Well, I think that is this 1 year would be plenty. We are probably 90% done with the project. So we really only need about 3 or 4 more months. But a year would be preferable in case anything comes up as we go.
We don't go usually lower than a year. Sometimes we'll boost it to 2, depending. So I don't, good question. Can you live with a year?
Absolutely.
Okay, Commissioner Mazzucchelli, do you have any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Ryan?
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Johnson?
No questions.
Thank you. This is Batchel. I have no questions. So let's take a vote to approve the extension for 1 year for 1061 Upper Union. I'll take a motion to approve.
Pat Gallagher, I'll make a motion to approve the requested extension for 1 year.
Thank you, Mazzucchelli. Second?
I second that. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's take a vote. Noli.
Jeff Milne votes to approve.
Thank you. Livingstone.
I vote to approve.
Gallagher.
Vote to approve.
Mazzucchelli.
I vote to approve.
Johnson.
Richard Johnson votes to approve.
Thank you, sir. Michael Ryan.
Votes to approve.
This is Bill Batchler. I also vote to approve. We're approving an extension for 1061 Upper Union Street for a period of 1 year. Thank you. Okay. We got a COC, better known as Certificate of Compliance for the SNETT Tunnel Prospect Street. Is that correct? Very good.
Yes. I was hoping somebody from PCR would be here to present. So on the Snet Trail up of Prospect Street, they are underneath Prospect Street. Actually, the DCR and the town DPW developed this amazing thoroughfare there for the Snet Trail. I did go and conduct a site visit. I didn't see any issues as it relates to conservation. So I recommend granting their COC.
Okay. Is the applicant with us? Appears not to.
No.
I have to ask the commissioners if there are any questions. Commissioner Livingstone.
On the email dated May 19th, they talk about waiving the fee. And we did do that, yes.
We did. Yep.
And we did.
Yep.
Okay, good. Okay, Gallagher?
No questions.
Mazzucchelli?
I have no questions.
Johnson?
No questions.
Nolly?
Chuck, no, I've been through there, did a great job, and I have no questions.
Okay. Michael Ryan?
No questions, thank you.
Okay, this is Commissioner Batchelor. I have no questions, certainly. So we're going to grant, I'll take a motion to grant this certificate of compliance based on the conclusions from the final site visit, May 25th. Do I have a recommendation?
Pat Gallagher, I'll make a motion to approve the COC for the Snet Tunnel prospect.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Mazzucchelli?
I second that. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's vote. Livingstone?
Vote to approve.
Ryan?
Vote to approve.
Milne?
Vote to approve.
Batchelor, I vote to approve. Johnson?
Votes to approve.
Gallagher?
Vote to approve.
Mazzucchelli?
Vote to approve.
We've approved it. Granting the certificate of compliance for the SNTT tunnel project. Thank you. Okay, we have a violation we want to discuss tonight, don't we?
Yes, we do.
And the violation is on Fairmont Farms Enforcement Order Extension. Very good.
Sure. I actually see, well, okay. So there is an enforcement order back on February 17th for fill within isolated vegetated wetland and stockpiling and fill within the 100-foot buffer zone. Their enforcement order, the restoration plan for the enforcement order was due last Thursday. As of today, I have not received a restoration plan. However, I have been in contact the past 2 days with the property owner and the consultant, Brandon, on the screen. Given we did not receive a restoration plan prior to last Thursday, so there's no material for the conservation to review.
In violation of our rules of order.
Right. I did receive something shortly before this meeting. Brandon is here.
That means nothing.
So what I'm comfortable doing is extending the time period for them to submit a restoration plan until next Thursday. So you can review it for the hearing on June 9th.
All right, let me ask you a question. What happens if next Thursday we don't get that material?
If by next Thursday you don't receive that material, then for the enforcement order, alternative follow-up legal action can take place. It can be a violation every single day that the material is still there. With that being said, Brandon has said he's found other wetlands on site adjacent to these that have been filled. So it sounds like it's an evolving enforcement order.
Well,
other than that, we can follow up with court.
Okay, is the applicant or the representative with us?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Brandon Fanoff with Ecosystem Solutions, Warwick, Rhode Island.
Brandon, what is the problem with getting the material to the commission in time?
Twofold, and none of it is the fault of Fairmount Farms. They were very timely in getting in touch with me. We did have some delay due to snow cover to do our job, but that wasn't the worst of it. Number one, we're extremely busy and everybody's extremely busy, and it's not a good excuse, but it is something. But the second part is the thing that really complicated this is that the enforcement order had in it that the resource area is an isolated vegetated wetland, meaning that it's a wetland that's not jurisdictional under 310 CMR 10, but only jurisdictional under the local bylaw. And when we went to the site, we went there with the idea that that's what we were going to find, but we actually found more than that. And the wetlands are more extensive and we're actually dealing with a BVW and not an IVW. And if you'll allow me, I do have some visuals for the Concom if you'd like to take a quick look at existing conditions so I can explain the difference between what's in the enforcement order and what we're finding.
Brandon, because we don't have the material to look at, I'm going to ask you not to do that. Quite honestly, you're in violation of a drop dead date on getting materials to us, regardless of the issues. And I don't take busy as being in conflict with anything we do. We're all busy, God knows. Number two, we have a hard and fast order. We need 1 week to look at everything. That allows the commissioners, the agent, to have dialogue and therefore to ask pertinent questions and or understand the situation clearly. In this case, we're flying blind, and any presentation made to us means no difference to me. I have no idea what you're talking about, and I'm not going to ruin the time. I'm not going to waste the time of our commissioners on trying to figure out what is before us without having it in front of us and studying. So while you're entitled to speak to some of the issues, don't start putting things up on the screen, because quite honestly, I'll just close it out and get a continuation and we'll make a judgment. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Therefore, I am going to rule as follow and then ask for a vote. Any and all materials regarding the enforcement order for Fairmont Farms be in the hands of the Franklin Conservation Agent and Office no later than next Thursday. What is the date, please, on next Thursday? Let me see if I've got it.
Second.
I'm sorry? It is June 2nd. If that date is missed, I am asking the conservation agent to get an email out to the commissioners such that we may take punitive action regarding the violation. Is there any questions you have about that?
No.
If for some reason a situation occurs that's really out of left field, I urge you to get to the agent as quickly as possible such that we can get communicated with and try to understand the dilemma. Because without that, next Thursday is our drop dead date. But that is my opinion, and I am one vote. So let me ask the commissioners how they feel. Commissioner Livingstone, how do you feel?
I agree.
Thank you, sir. Gallagher.
I agree.
Mazzucchelli.
I agree as well.
Johnson.
I agree.
Thank you. Ryan.
Agree.
Thank you. Milne.
Jeff Milne, I agree.
Okay, this is Chairman and Commissioner Batchelor. You're going to be continued on this until June 9th meeting, with the caveat that June 2nd, which is the Thursday before, is the drop dead date. And if that goes by and there's no activity, it could be very painful.
Understood.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll close that out for the violation enforcement order, Fairmont Farms. Thank you. Next issue is the meeting minutes from April 28th. Anybody want to make a motion to approve? You do?
Hello. Yep.
Okay, I have Commissioner Livingstone to approve. Gallagher?
Second.
Mazzucchelli?
Vote to approve.
Okay, a Batchelor. I'm going to abstain because I did not read the minutes and I was in the hospital, and that's the last thing I wanted to do.
I have Jeff Milne approves. Ryan votes to approve.
Johnson?
Votes to approve.
It's approved. Thank you. Okay, we got some discussions coming up. Number one, we got a group of commissioners that are up for another term.
I didn't know what this was. I was going to step out.
You're not going to step
I'm going to
out.
step out for 1 minute anyway.
Oh, you got to step out. Okay.
But
So,
but free to discuss among use.
yeah, let's see, Michael, you're up, right? In June?
Yes, I'm up in June also.
Are you gonna run again?
Yes,
Do you want to be?
I would like to be considered to.
Does anybody have a problem with Commissioner Michael running?
No, absolutely not.
Certainly I don't. I think he's
He's a great guy. I think he's.
terrific guy. Well, great guys. You know. Who else? Mazzucchelli?
I think I'm up. I already voiced my
Better.
intention to
better
renew,
There'll be blood
rerun.
coming
So.
from your eyes. Who else is? Are you not up? I'm not up. I know that. Are you up, Jeff? Nope. Anybody have a problem with Andrew? I don't. He's a
I'm decent, right?
You know, I totally understand that, Patrick. I really do. Do you ever have any old clothes?
No, I mean
every time you come in here, it's like, what are you, model?
Just always have an influx of clothes, you know, just coming down the pipe.
That's what you need, a wise chairman. Yes. I hope Livingston didn't run away because he's up. Is he? Yeah, I think so. Isn't he?
That's what it says.
I'm the guy with the bad kidney.
No, I forgot that my student knows this morning, so I took it.
Okay. So you're re-upping, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody have a problem with Commissioner Livingston?
Do you want me to leave you?
The debate was hot and heavy, but
Sure.
I finally convinced him to let you go one more time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay. By the way, I want to make a comment. I honestly, in looking at this commission, I can say with pride that this is one of the strongest commissions I've worked with in 10 years. And you're all to be applauded for the contributions you make. So I'm delighted that everybody is back in the wrap.
For what it's worth, I mean, people that I've talked to just out there really appreciate, again, the tone of the conversation.
And when you think of just the COVID and what it's done to us and how we've so nicely adapted, I mean, that speaks volumes. So thank you. Okay, Earth Day post-event review. Jeff, I was there for a very short period of time. I was the walking wounded. Yeah. All I wanted to do was get up in Maine and get warm, which turned out to be 58 degrees.
Are you kidding?
No. Last weekend, it never
kidding.
hit 60 and the wind was coming off in Kennebunkport. The
You
water.
know how hot it was here, right?
Yes, I do.
You know insanely hot
I heard from my children who said it was not fair. I wouldn't allow them up.
I thought you were going to tell us you were actually inside the whole time because it was too hot.
When I tell you, we got out of the car and my brother-in-law and sister-in-law were in a car in back of us. That it's actually their home. There's a family compound. Sounds like more than it is, but it's rather nice. And they said, we should go home. You couldn't see the water because the wind was coming in and the water was so cold, the fog just came right in over the dune into the community. It was bone chilling. We couldn't do any outside work. Of course, I can't anyway, but I can always watch and drink cocoa.
That's a long way to go to drink cocoa.
So tell me.
I'm just saying.
Let me tell you. that is where God lives, as far as I'm concerned. That Goose Rocks area where the family houses are is breathtaking. Okay. Talk to us about last Saturday, please.
No, so it was. I think there are two things that happened. First of all, the two major observations. One, we were very, very happy to see when we first got there that honestly, I'm assuming is the locals are really taking pretty darn good care of that property.
I was shocked how clean it was.
Oh, it was like, so when I first got there, I did a tour with the dogs around, and I expected to bring back like an entire plastic, trash bag. I think I found maybe 5 pieces of trash, at least on the immediate trail. Now, granted, I didn't walk back into the brush, but I was really shocked because that was completely different than it was maybe 18 months ago or so.
Right.
The last time I actually took like a full tour, I was really shocked. So I think that my impression is, maybe I'm overly optimistic, but that the town has really seen it as their own, and something that they want to protect. They really, they appreciate the fact that we have that. They see it as something special, and that the citizens are really trying hard to preserve it, which is great, because that really was the vision. And let me just tell you, you know, for anyone, I'm sorry, nobody was here at that time, but at the time, the first walk that Nick and I took around that property, when it literally was the town dump, and I am not joking when I say that, compared to now, you literally could not imagine. You couldn't imagine the change. Granted, it's been many years now, but you could not imagine that that thing would look like this or be treated by the citizens as it is today, because at the time it literally was the old Delcart dump. I mean, that's what it was basically considered.
And you're correct.
It's crazy, crazy. So anyway, so that was really nice to see. That's number one. Number two is, it was great to see how many people brought their kids.
Yes, I noticed
Lots
that
of
as I
kids.
was leaving.
Tons of kids. So it wasn't just, in years past, it's been a lot of adults and maybe a few kids here and there. This time it was tons of kids. And it was great to see, including, you know, beautiful kid, unbelievable. Unbelievable kid, by the way.
And I would comment that the kids were engaged.
No, they were engaged. They were like walking around, picking up trash, whole 9 yards. They never like going on. It was like taking hikes, and we're going. You can see them going into the brush. It was a big deal. So it's not just that the citizens are protective of the property; it's that they're actually bringing their families out to actually get them engaged in protecting the property. Really, so it's like two levels. So that was extremely heartening. After all the work and effort, time and cost, that was very heartening to see. And I was really happy. You know, really happy. And I also learned I learned one very important thing. Don't bring donuts on a very hot day. I will not make that mistake again.
Well, we want to acknowledge Big Y and
yeah, no, thank you very Big Y. But that was
commitment.
probably like fruit in a chiller would have been a better option as opposed to melty chocolate donuts that nobody really wanted to touch.
Yeah. Well, you're to be applauded for, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Tyler Paslasky and Brika Lee and the work that they put in.
Huge amount of work, huge.
I mean, quite honestly, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the posters, the shirts, the brochures, everything, huge. And also, I'm gonna say, I heard a couple of people commenting about the posters that we hung, you know,
oh,
that
God.
you guys made. Those were really well done. And people were saying, wow, those are great. Like for the kids, they're educational. You know, like you guys are really about education. I'm saying, yes, absolutely. We're all about education, which is good because then that's in keeping with sort of like the meme that we tried to make, you know, with commission. We're really about educating the public as opposed to penalizing the public, right? So that was very much in keeping with that theme. And people saw that, right? That was a very good thing, in my opinion. So I think it was extremely successful.
Well, I clearly, and I have always felt that Delcart is one of the Franklin's crown jewels. Mm-hmm. And as such, like Jeff, because we go way back on the cleanup, when we began, I actually didn't hold out much hope. I said, why is this happening to this gorgeous area? And here we are last Saturday to a wonderful Delcart. The water was clear. You know, I noticed the lily pads weren't infesting the water. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you consider the investments we made, not only in capital, but human capital, mm-hmm. It has paid up many dividends, and it's something to be proud of for all the residents of Franklin. So thank you for everybody for what you've done, because that's what it's all about, is creating these wonderful areas of nature, free from debris and in their natural state, where children can enjoy, and adults. I've seen senior citizens walking the trails. I mean, just enjoy that whole vibe that you get from Delcart. So
I always saw people fishing. People were there with the dogs, or fishing. Again, kids, you know, walking around. So one kid found a little snapping turtle. So it was like exactly the vision that we had originally for this property. That I can't believe you have this a property and this is what you did to it. It really needs to be this. So it's great to see that finally.
Michael, that was a good one to cut your teeth on, so we appreciate your involvement to a degree.
Yeah, I wish I could have been there.
Well, listen, I get it. But yet, at least from an administrative standpoint, you were right in step with where we needed to be, and all the commissioners were. So, well done. You're here.
You're here.
And okay. And again, thank you, Joe.
Can I ask a question?
Of course you can.
So I hiked there recently, and I noticed that it's been improved in the last 6 months. There, at each junction, trail junction now, there's a post with a map. And there's more than there used to be. I'm just wondering, do we know who's helping?
That was an Eagle Scout project.
Yeah, it looks great.
That was an Eagle Scout project that we approved. You were not on the board at that time,
Gotcha.
the commission. And I thought that young man did an outstanding
Yeah,
job.
so let me just say that one additional. Right after that those went in, somebody did go in and vandalize 2 of the signs and didn't break them, just sort of took them apart. It was really bad. That was really horrifying. But the people around that live around the area came out and fixed the signs. It was not DPW. Okay, I'm just saying that, so that's what I mean about engagement. So people are actually and what I think is happening is that people are starting to watch the problem, right? Because when we first put this together, that kind of stuff was happening. Not I won't say frequently, but maybe 2 or 3 times a year. For example, you come out and you find someone had kicked out some of the wood, railings.
I remember
dams, right? Okay. Some people have thrown things in, like where the gullies are.
How about the shopping carts?
Yeah. So there's stuff that was going on that never happens now. That does not. And I think it's because people have become vigilant about what's going on over there. My personal opinion.
Well, I've been approached, honestly, over the last probably 2 years by residents of Prospect that live across from Delcart, saying thank you for everything the commission has done to bring that back, and we're so proud of it, and how engaged they are now in cleaning and doing little things.
Yeah, they want it to remain nice. I mean, they want it to be.
Why not?
Right.
So another successful venture. I'm assuming with the whoever the chair and vice chair are next year, we're going to get equal activity. We certainly hope so.
We need that property down like Charles River, at the top of the town, right? Remember that thing, that big thing? That would be sweet. That would be sweet. Connecting those pieces and the trail on the Charles. That would be sweet.
Well, another thing too is we've got to make sure that we know what else is going on in town so that there's not conflicts as we found out this year.
And that
gets tough
too.
And that gets tough because they're equally as important, and yet we don't want to look like we're competing. We'd like as they would. We'd like our own space.
Yeah. Again, just for historical purposes, you guys. At points in the past, not recently, there has been I would say, political conflict between DPW and conservation, and that was bad, and we don't want that. We don't want that again because we rely on them to do things like, put the tables down, put the 40 that kind of stuff, right? Okay, and that turned out to be a very bad thing. So I was really hoping we wouldn't have that kind of conflict starting again this year, because when I saw that, I was thinking, oh man, we don't want that.
Does anybody else want to comment on anything? Richard, do you want to comment on anything? No.
Oh, I think it was a good deal. Well done.
No question. Yes, amen. Jeff?
No.
Everybody good? Okay, I guess the next order is someone to say that they'd like to adjourn the meeting. I have a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second that.
Can we take a vote? Let's take a vote. Mazzucchelli, you vote to adjourn?
Vote to adjourn.
Johnson?
Vote to adjourn.
Brian?
Vote to adjourn.
Milne? Let me think about it. No, he's adjourned. You scared me. Bachelor, I vote to adjourn. Look at that. We're done. Everybody,
Very
thank
nice.
you. Great meeting.
For next time.